From the Watergate Building in Washington, this is Hotline TV. Now, here are Hotline editors Chuck Todd and John Mercurio.
It's Hotline TV. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Chuck Todd. You know, Bill Richardson's going to be rolling out that presidential campaign in a few weeks, and when he does, he's going to be able to point to a most recent feat, and that is the guy won a 60-day ceasefire in Darfur. Say that 3 times. Fire in Darfur. John, how's this guy not the front runner, man? This is foreign policy experience.
Dude, he is the Bob Graham of the 2008 presidential campaign. And I say that with all due respect. Bob Graham, former Florida senator, chairman of the House, Senate Intelligence Committee, former Florida governor, beloved all over the state of Florida, would have won Florida for the Democrats in 08 or in 04.
Just lost everywhere else.
Just lost everywhere. He would have just lost everywhere else, but he would have had those votes. Yeah. Look, Bill Richardson is exactly the same way. He has extremely good experience both at the state and the national level, international, domestic, statewide. But how many people in America, if you were to rank, or how many people in America, if you were to ask them, do you think even know that much about what's going on in the Darfur and consider it one of the top priorities going into 2008? That's why he's not a front runner. He's focusing on things that are extremely important on a policy level, but politically, look, they're off the radar.
I think the guys get the best bio spot in the field, right? When you film that bio spot and you do everything and you show him getting soldiers released in the places he's done, and he's been to Iraq and he's been to, he's done these things.
And you know he's got film footage of all of that.
I can't help but think this guy's running for vice president. I hate to say that. I know presidential candidates hate when idiot pundits like us say it, but my God, the way he's doing it, he comes from a swing state. The West is the swing area of the country.
Sure.
Hispanic vote. That at the end of the day, he's simply running for president in order to make sure, to launder himself a little bit, make sure all these questions about his personal discipline and all this stuff, that by running for president, he erases it. He won't attack anybody on the trail. You won't see him attack anybody. And instead, he wants to be Obama, Edwards, or Clinton's running mate.
Unless
I think that's where he's going.
I totally agree with you. I think he's definitely.
And he makes a lot of sense. I think he makes
unless he gets into this, he runs. He doesn't actually mereasure up as a presidential candidate.
And then that's it.
Issues come out, scandals come out, and he ends up having to get out. That just completely eliminates his reasoning.
I think there's a chunk of the New Mexico Republican Party that hates Bill Richardson so much that if there were any there, we'd already know. I'm convinced.
Do you know who reporters are going to have to just get on their Rolodex if they're covering Richardson? Is Bill Redmond, former congressman, ran against.
He's obsessed with the guy.
He is absolutely obsessed. Yeah. You can sit that guy down. He can talk to you for hours and hours and hours
actually.
About Bill Richardson and about every reason that.
Domenici's not a big Richardson fan either. Fascinating, Richardson. He was a carpetbagger. Guy never even from New Mexico.
Literally, Los Angeles.
He just moved there. He said, what the heck? I'm going to move to New Mexico.
You sound like Bill Redmond. You sound like that's exactly what he said.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, you know what? Before we go,
yes,
are you
sir.
done? You got any more?
No, I mean I could talk about Richardson for hours.
Clearly, you and Bill Redmond.
Sure.
We haven't done. We got to bring out the odometer. And this, it's like where we are measuring the drapes, yada yada yada. Where do you have him this week? You want to tell me where the Obameter's rated?
He was the first out of the gate last night on Larry King Live talking about the speech. He did a very good job. He did a hell of a lot better job, I thought, than both John Edwards, who was also on their lineup, and John McCain, both of whom I thought seemed distracted.
He's better at this than the people realize.
Edwards was not focused.
Low bar.
Edwards didn't sound, frankly, as though he'd actually listened to the speech. He was making criticisms of Bush's speech that were factually inaccurate based on what Bush had actually said.
Wow, hello,
McCain sounded and looked extremely old.
So where are you putting him?
Obama looked very good. If he could just do something about those ears. I'm serious. They are so distracting.
So you're moving them up.
Helped, of course, I think, by the People magazine. I'm moving them up. I'm moving them up slightly to them notable.
Well, I tell you,
I'm moving them up.
You listen to Substance. You're a Substance guy.
I am a Substance guy. That's
me. I'm a style guy, and we don't have the ranking here. I say,
Chuck.
I say he's got to go back to the gym, Bob. So it's my best Gene Rayburn in Match Game moment. So, guy. A little bit of a bird chest. I was surprised. Thought he worked out a little bit more. Very much a, it's just, I don't know.
I thought he was going to be more just genetically lean. Those people who don't even get out
of me with my shirt off. That's kind of what I look like.
Let's not go
there. Little pudgy,
little bony. He reminded me of what Danielle Jones, the elusive, mysterious Danielle Jones, likes to call the, I thought he had the get out of gym free card. Meaning that you don't have to ever go to the gym, but you just have one of those genetically superior bodies, which Danielle Jones says she has.
There you go. Wow. Can we pull ripcord yet? Let's hurry up before we get in trouble.
Before I get completely kicked in the butt.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for today's episode. We hope that we see you tomorrow. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Chuck Todd. We'll see you next time on Hotline TV.